EEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lacey. A return to the Lakers for Russell Westbrook. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports Westbrook plans to exercise his $47 million player option. LA looking for a comeback season for Westbrook under first-year coach Darvin Ham. Kyrie Irving has made his decision, told The Athletic he's opting into his $36.5 million option with the Nets. That might not mean the drama's over for Brooklyn, though, explains ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst.
The people that I talked to in the league are skeptical that Kyrie is going to be all for one and one for all on this. See in the fall, like you thought last year was bad, just you wait. So, again, I don't know. I would have thought that this was a depressurizing element for the Nets, but I'm telling you, not everybody in the league thinks so.
Brian Windhorst on the Hoop Collective podcast. The disciplinary hearing for Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson continues. Former U.S. District Judge Sue Robinson will determine whether he violated the NFL's personal conduct policy and whether to impose discipline. Watson settled 20 of the 24 civil lawsuits alleging sexual misconduct last week.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Money. That's money. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNAVL.com.
In the heart of Beer City,
Into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, live or on demand. TheSportsocracy.com is the website. Guess what you find at TheSportsocracy.com? The live video link. Just click on it, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and that will get you into the chat with us each and every afternoon here in the Ingles Studio. We're always brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings, and our good friends over at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And right off the top, we have news from our friends at Fred Anderson Nissan. They are giving you an extra $250 on your used car trade-in just for being a fan of ours. This is a gift from them to you.
Wow.
All you have to do, go to their location at 629 Brevard Road, trade in your car, and they will give you an extra $250 on that trade just for mentioning that you heard them here on the Sportsocracy.
So if I take my trade in there, they will give
you
$254. Go check out Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville here in town. Now, we've got news right off the top.
We have breaking news. Hit your button.
Yeah.
I haven't allowed you to hit the button in forever. I just cut it off, so you just okay.
Who's gonna break the news?
Ha!
Who's gonna break the news?
Yeah.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
I don't like the tongue thing. All right, just off the jump. The button's fine, but that
No
was
tongue?
weird.
No tongue?
We need to not talk for a while after that.
Sorry about that.
Terry McLaurin has signed a 3-year, $71 million deal with the Washington Commanders.
Wow. All right. So McLaurin F1.
And that's
with
up
the Washington
to
Commanders.
71. The APV of the deal is $23.3 million. That is a lot of money.
So that's a lot of doubloons. Is Terry McLaurin worth that? No.
That's hard for me to answer.
Okay.
Because the receivers that are cashing in now, well, obviously it's inflated. We know what's getting ready to happen to the cap.
Mm-hmm.
So is Terry McLaurin a $23 million receiver right now? No. He's close. But no. 2 years from now, he absolutely could be.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Washington, you had to get this done.
Oh,
that division
no doubt.
is too open. He is too relevant to this team. To me, that he was the easiest one to figure out. They're going to get this done.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow, but they're going to get this done.
So $23 million a year, Terry McLaurin will return to the Washington Commanders.
And I don't obviously want to lead off with a fantasy football question, but I'm going to pair this in a fantasy football way.
Okay.
Where would you put Terry McLaurin right now amongst receivers? Because now he's paid like a top 5 guy. And he's not there.
I don't think I would have him in the top 12. I think he would be he'd be in the top 20, I would imagine.
Oh, he's certainly in the top 20.
Not doing this, doing this off the top of my head. I don't know that I would have him in the top 12. I don't know that I would have him as wide receiver 1.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Or I'll ask you a series of questions and see if we can't figure out where you have him slotted in.
Okay.
Is he better than Marquise Hollywood Brown?
Yes.
Is he better than Brandon Cooks?
Yes.
Is he better than Jalen Waddle? It's yes.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten to the hard ones yet.
Yeah.
Let's just say yes and move on.
I don't know.
Now's where it starts to get into, well, maybe. Is he better than DJ Moore?
No.
I disagree with you. Is he better than Amari Cooper?
Yes.
Wow. You just had that all boo-booed compared to me. So you've got him somewhere around 14, 15, 16.
Okay. There you go.
That's where he would fall in.
Yeah.
Because there's about 11 that if you told me you liked it, I would just act like you didn't say it and moved on.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got him as a top 15 receiver. What that means to me is no, this is not that aggressive of an overpay. It might be an early pay, but it's not anything to be upset about.
And I would think in the circumstances of the Washington Commanders, he's your star, he's your face of the franchise. So, yeah, in certain scenarios, you will overpay a little bit to get that guy sewn up.
And I guess what I'm looking at is he has been a 1,000-yard receiver 2 years in a row with arguably the worst quarterback situation in the league. You're not there anymore. I'm not going to tell you that it's great, but I believe anybody with an IQ above salad dressing knows that Carson Wentz, if he is healthy, is better than Taylor Heineke, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Kyle Allen.
And I don't think it's close.
I don't either. So what that tells me is he was a 1050, 1,100-yard, 5-touchdown guy with what I just said. I can make the argument that the upgrade in quarterback puts him in the high 12s, low 1,300-yard range. And then, yeah, that's you paid for what you're getting.
All right, so the breaking news of the day so far, Terry McLaurin has been sewn up for the next 3 years, up to $71 million by Washington.
The Commanders fans are already attacking you in the YouTube comments for saying that for even considering DJ Moore ahead of Terry McLaurin, and I tend to agree with them.
No, I think DJ Moore's better.
Who's a better route runner?
Huh?
Who's a better route runner?
I don't know.
It's Terry McLaurin's not close. Who's a better deep threat? It's Terry McLaurin's not even close. DJ Moore is a vast improvement over Curtis Samuel at what he does. DJ Moore's one of those that we get into that, okay, you're being very liberal with the use of the word wide receiver. And I like DJ Moore, but to compare those two is kind of chuckles to me.
Okay. I think he's better. I think the quarterbacks have been about on par for both of them.
I don't disagree with that. You just have to, but you have to look at how they get their yards.
Okay.
DJ Moore is more of a, and I hate to always use this name, but he's the definition of this guy. He's a Deebo Samuel, get the ball in your hand, and then, hey, look how good I am with the ball in my hand. Mm-hmm. He's not a one-on-one, you have a number one corner, I'm a number one wide receiver, and I'm going to burn you. Had I had more than 4 minutes to get ready for this, I could have. Receivers were getting ready in fantasy things to get in deeper in receivers.
Right.
DJ Moore has not fared well against high-level corners.
Okay.
Terry McLaurin has not had that problem.
Okay. All right.
And that's not a slight at DJ Moore, just so we're clear. I feel like people undervalue Terry McLaurin because he is inconsistent. Mm-hmm. Last year he had 4 games where he had top 10 wide receiver numbers. In those 4 games, 3 of them he was in the top 5. Well, that was the only 4 games he did that. So, yes, he has these big boom games, but that comes from where the quarterback play is.
And you think with Carson Wentz, he will definitely show this year, prove to me that he's better than DJ Moore. You think?
Here, okay, I'll use a statistical thought process here.
Okay.
There were 6 receivers last year that went over 1,300 yards. I don't think it is out of the realm of possibility that he is one of those this year. I do not see a path that DJ Moore is. That would probably be my explanation.
Okay. All right. Today on the program, thank you all for tuning in with us and being here with us. We are going to continue our pre-training camp previews of each and every team in the NFL. We're doing an AFC team and an NFC team each and every day. We are now at, 14 shows until training camps begin. So
I can't wait. We don't have to talk about Kyrie Irving or Westbrook, which, yes, now that's all I call him ever for the rest of eternity. If it makes him that angry, that's all I'll call you ever.
Yeah. So the next two off the board today, going in, elimination order of last year's playoffs. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers first and the Tennessee Titans coming up on today's program.
And I have a feeling there's going to be less vehement disagreement here than people would think about the first team we're going to talk about.
All right. We will also talk about the big change coming in the ACC. Football-wise, we now have no more divisions. After this year, 2022 will be the last year that we have the Atlantic and the Coastal in the ACC. We've got basketball news as well with Kyrie Irving, Russell Westbrook, John Wall, all the bad contracts. Well, they're going to be paid.
Somehow John Wall went from the worst contract in the NBA to the best contract in the NBA in one day.
Also, we'll talk some quarterbacks coming up in the second hour as one of my favorite all-time players had some choice words about what he heard about Colin Kaepernick's tryout with the Las Vegas Raiders.
And we ask a very basic question. Why does everyone hate Jimmy Garoppolo? I have a theory, and it doesn't have a whole lot to do with football.
Yeah, and some former teammates of Jimmy Garoppolo's had some interesting words about his work ethic, I guess we'll say, which leads us to the 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery question of the day. It is, do you judge players who don't play through the pain?
And now this question is not, they don't play through injury. They don't play when they shouldn't play. They get a little boo-boo, and then they don't play. Are you judging that?
Yes, I judge Anthony Davis every day.
With Anthony Davis bruises his eyebrow and doesn't play. So I don't necessarily know that it's what we're talking about. And this comes from Julian Edelman talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. We'll talk about that in the second hour. Mm-hmm. But do you expect a player to play through most boo-boos?
I would say.
I don't want to say injury because I'm not saying a guy breaks his leg and then nobody judges that.
He tore his MCL and he wasn't out there. No, that's not what we're saying.
The Ronnie Lott thing of he cut a finger off so he didn't have to miss a game. We're past that, and if you don't believe it, go to Twitter and just read anything that anybody says.
I think it's a double-edged sword.
Those days are long gone.
I think it's a double-edged sword. It depends on what the injury is. It depends on, and it also can depend on the player. Like last year, Baker Mayfield, remember? There were all these people trying to pump him up as, look how much of a gamer he is. He's playing through the pain.
It was stupid. It was stupid then, and it's stupid now.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and let's kick it off here. Our first team of the day, camp preview for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady is back, and, after the 40-day retirement, he made sure that this team reloaded.
Did they, though?
Yeah.
Did they reload?
I mean, as much as you possibly could.
I feel like there are a lot of holes on this team.
A lot?
I don't like your line nearly as much as everybody else does.
Wow, okay.
Is Donovan Smith a high-level left tackle in this league?
No, but
no, and now he has a rookie on the inside of him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just me, from a schematic sense, the way to hurt Tom Brady has always been to get pressure up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You have opened a door to that might be large enough to drive one of those cars from Fred Anderson Nissan through. I didn't like it when Tom left. I thought that was going to be a disaster, and I don't think you really addressed it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got Shaq Mason. Yay. And you got Tristan Wirfs. Yay. I don't know how good that's going to be. And now you don't have that mismatch in Gronkowski. A lot of people, I feel like, undervalued how important he was because he didn't play that level of snaps. He was in on, I don't remember the exact number, but I think it was 55% of offensive snaps last year.
Okay.
If he was in a jersey, he played about half of the snaps.
Mm-hmm.
The thing of that is that he always played on third down. So you couldn't send the hellhounds at Tom because you had this gigantic 6'6" tight end playing on the outside. And that gets game behind the game. But now you've got Chris Godwin that's not going to be ready for the start of the season. I don't see any way that he will be.
No.
I've heard all the training camp palaver. It's a joke. It's not going to happen. Most likely he starts on PUP.
Mm-hmm.
Which means you're counting a lot on Russell Gage and Tyler Johnson and Scotty Miller and Cameron Brate. Look, Tom's phenomenal.
Yep.
I'm just looking at this going, that all sets up to be much more problematic than people give it credit for.
Could be problematic. I don't have as big of a problem with the offensive line as you do. Donovan Smith has been fine. I mean, yeah, the guard spot is going to be a little iffy.
It's not going to be good.
It may not be good.
Luke Goedecki apparently is, like Anthony Munoz if you listen to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Would I have loved to have had Alex Kappa back? Yes, absolutely.
I love how every team at this point has found the rookie stalwart that we can't believe you all passed on.
Right.
You know what tends to happen with those guys? Yeah, they're exactly what I told you they would be. He'll be a fine NFL player.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to write home about.
Mm-hmm.
You put him on the inside of Donovan Smith, who I have seen get beat like a kettle drum at times. I don't like that at all. And you don't have the mismatch pieces that you had before. I'm not – this is going to become my new phrase. I'm not saying you're going to be the Jets. I'm just Brady came back and now all of a sudden all the ills are cured because we have Tom.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not quite going to work like that.
No, all the ills are not cleared. Obviously, you have some issues, but I feel like they're minor. They went out and got Shaq Mason, and I feel like that's a fine plugging the hole in the middle.
And I would agree with that. I think that was a good addition.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a lot of instability.
On the defensive side of the ball, I mean, this is roughly the same defense that you've had.
No.
I mean,
no, it's not.
Okay, so you're missing JPP.
Mm-hmm. Who was a good pass rusher.
I'm sure.
Good situational pass rusher.
He was a good situational pass rusher, but
Ndamukong Suh was a good situational pass rusher.
Yeah, but I mean, sorry, I don't really care all that much that Ndamukong Suh's not there. I feel like they have filled the line out pretty well.
If Akeem Hicks is healthy, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a problem with the way this defense is constructed that is what makes me nervous about this team.
Okay.
After the break, I'll tell you exactly what that is, and I'm kind of curious to see if you hear me say this and go, no, it'll be fine because it's Tom Brady, or if you hear it and go, well, that could actually be a problem.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
Your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, most of the thunderstorms have pushed on down into South Carolina. A little cold front has cleared Asheville. That lower humidity feeling good tonight in the 50s and 60s across the area. Chance for isolated thunderstorms Wednesday, a high of 81. And then a chance for an isolated storm or two into the holiday weekend as well. High temperatures in the low 80s. Nighttime low temps in the mid-60s. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
Ray Magliozzi here. I don't cook much, but when I need ingredients for my car, eBay Motors has 122 million options. So whether I toasted my transmission or cooked my clutch, eBay Motors has all the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today. This week, we'll help you plan your summer getaway. Plus, the star of Minions, Steve Carell. And Keith Urban kicks off your weekend. Watch the Today Show every morning on NBC.
Here's to the great American settlers, the millions of you who settled for unsatisfying jobs because they pay the bills. Of course, there is something else you could do if you got something to say. Start a podcast with Spreaker from iHeart and unleash your creative freedom. Maybe even earn enough money to one day tell your old boss, hey, I'm no settler, I'm an explorer. Spreaker.com, Spreaker. Hustle on over today.
If you suffer from joint pain, from arthritis or an injury, you know the traditional treatments, pain meds and steroids and then surgery, right? We have great news. Now there's a better way, and it's here now. From the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. This is an advanced, exciting, and natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive, and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022. Those old ways are out, and the new ways are in. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using the natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you quality of life you deserve. Call now and schedule your free consultation. 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics. 828-333-9517.
Did you book the Townsend's 10th anniversary tickets?
Alona's travel agency is overbooked and experiencing delays. She needs to land a new project manager to clear her business's runways.
Yes, Mrs. O'Hara, we checked. Pygmy goats do not count as emotional support animals.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Fans of the Sportsocracy, it's time for the 4th of July summer sales event at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Great prices on new and used vehicles, and they're paying top dollar for your trade. Our friends at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville are paying an extra $250 for your used vehicle just to show their love for fans of our show. Mention this ad and tell them the Sportsocracy sent you. Visit them online at andersonnissan.com at their 629 Brevard Road location, or give them a call 365-1663.
At Ingles, we know that big dreams don't always make it to the big leagues. But we also know that baseball, it's family. It's about building character. And as sure as there'll be some stumbles on that journey from first to home, we'll be right there, cheering you on. This is baseball, and this is who we are. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
The Sportsocracy.
This is G. Duggarell, voice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
It's good to hear his voice once again. And we are talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in our run-up to training camps. An NFC and AFC team each and every day. 14 shows to go before training camp opens.
It's so close.
Yeah.
We're just... It's so close you can taste it. Before you even know, it'll be 7 hours of commercial-free football.
Now, when we last left our heroes from Tampa Bay.
I don't know if I'd say heroes. That team that drives us all crazy.
Tom Brady came back, and Bruce Arians took a spot in the front office. They handed the reins over to Todd Bowles as the head coach. I don't like it.
You shouldn't like it.
And
that's not sour grapes for me. I'm telling you, there are issues with him that you didn't have to deal with out of Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
I could argue he's the worst game manager I've ever seen in my life. Burned timeouts early. It was a constant problem. And I just think that that's more relevant than people give it credit for. You also have to look at, I don't love how your defense is built for what it is he asked you to do.
Okay. Explain.
You've always had a slew of pass rush options.
Mm-hmm.
I know Ndamukong Suh wasn't what he once was. I get that. I know JPP wasn't what he once was. But you had a slew of guys to take pressure off of Shaq Barrett. You don't have that now.
True.
And look, I know you want to like the kid. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka was a pretty unmitigated disaster for the vast majority of last year.
Yeah, he wasn't a disaster.
He graded terribly. I mean, horribly. And that was as a situational guy.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen now? Now you're expected to play 3 downs. I said in the process before he was drafted, I like him better playing on the interior than I ever did on the outside. Now he has to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because your secondary is not good. The secondary is not good.
Nah.
The secondary is not good.
Okay.
Okay, you tell me what's good about it.
What's good about
What's good about it?
Well, I mean, they're all young, and they've all gotten better. Would you like to know what PFF thinks of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary?
It's just fire away.
I want you to guess. Where do you think they got them ranked this year? Coming into the 2022 season.
Based off what you told me yesterday about Kansas City, excuse me, I can only assume they have them rated higher than that.
Yep. In fact, you need to go that many spots higher. Actually, more spots than that higher. There is the number 1 secondary in the NFL is the Baltimore Ravens. Number 2 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's the stupidest thing that has ever been said out loud.
With Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Antoine Winfield Jr., and Mike Edwards. There's one weak link in all of that, and it's Mike Edwards. And he's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Do you know how many teams in the NFL gave up more passing yards than you did last year?
How many?
It's 10. Here's a sampling of who it is. The Houston Texans, the Detroit Lions, that Kansas City Chiefs team that couldn't play dead in the Western that we talked about yesterday, the Jets and the Seahawks. Just wonderful, stalwart defenses. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I do not understand what it is that people are seeing. Carlton Davis, he's fine. I said in the lead up to free agency, looking directly at Joe Douglas, GM of my New York Jets, please, God, no. No, please, no. And that's the best one you got.
Mm-hmm.
And here's where I think this becomes a problem. You gave up that many, and I know what the converse to that's going to be is, well, nobody could run on us.
Indeed.
And I get that. I understand that moves things a little bit. I'm not sure you're going to be as good against the run as you think you are. And I know you're not as good against the pass as you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
And now you take away all of those pass rush options. You gave up that much with them. Do you really think it's going to get better? Because this has always been a play off and adjust to the ball kind of defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's what Todd Bowles does. It's not man on man, Jimmy's on Joe's, I can beat you. It's I'm schematically going to keep you from killing me. And then when we get inside the 30, we tighten up and you kick field goals instead of touchdowns.
Right.
I'm not so sure you can do that. Especially as I look down the schedule and go, do you realize how many good receivers you play? Just in the beginning part of the schedule, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Thomas, if he's clinically alive, the Kyle Pitts, Drake London combo, the slew of receivers they have in Pittsburgh. That's a lot of guys that you're going to have to contend with. And I'm not sure it's going to be as seamless as people think.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying this is a team to, they're going to lose 3 games this year, and that's it. That's not what I'm saying. But this is a team that is going to be in the driver's seat of the division, along with the New Orleans Saints.
There you go. Driver's seat kind of says, well, so long as we do what we're supposed to do. I'm not so sure that's the case.
You still have one big drawback with the New Orleans Saints, and we'll talk about that when it's the New Orleans Saints' turn in the pre-training camp previews here. But, I don't feel like this team is drastically worse than they were last year. You lost a couple of key pieces in Jordan Whitehead on the defense.
That's the one. Lenny Loxley just said that in our YouTube comments. Losing Whitehead is a problem. And it is.
Oh, yeah.
Because that defense is predicated on having somebody. When Todd Bowles was in New York, he had a guy that could do that. You don't have that now. Now it's Logan Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, he was good 10 years ago. Yeah, so was MySpace. That doesn't mean that you're the same guy now. And it's you said markedly different. I'm not telling you this team's markedly worse than they were. This is that death by 1,000 paper cuts. I feel like you have taken a lot of those. And people just think it's going to fall right back into place because of Tom. And I understand I've been saying this for many years now.
Yes.
There's coming a day where you just can't do it anymore. Father Time's undefeated. And I feel like the older Tom gets, the more they heap on his shoulders, and eventually the legs give out and you can't carry it anymore.
I would have much rather seen the head coaching job for this team go to Byron Leftwich, but I mean, that was part of the deal.
That induced a vehement bell strike.
Oh, yeah. Part of the deal with Bruce Arians stepping away was that you got to give it to Todd.
All right, I'm going to ask, I'm curious. How much more would you like this team if Bruce Arians was the coach than Todd Bowles? I can quantify mine.
Okay.
It's 2 full games.
Really?
I think he's worth 2 full losses.
Okay.
It is undervalued how bad in-game Todd Bowles is. And look, he's a nice enough guy. He handled New York media, which is a nightmare. He handled it with a smile, and he was getting crushed on a daily basis. I have no issue with the guy. I have a problem that I feel like a lot of things are going to be heaped on his plate that he's not ready for. And you mix that with Byron Leftwich, who I almost feel like this team's been divided in half of the defense is on Todd, the offense is on Byron Leftwich. Yes. And I'm not so sure how I feel about either one of those things because I'm not sure in game that you have somebody that can make that tough decision. And I think it's going to bear out more than people think.
You have somebody in game that can make that tough decision.
You're about to say Tom, and I'm going to throw something at you.
His name is Tom Brady. I said it last year I said it 2 years ago when they made the Super Bowl run. Everything runs through Tom Brady. You get Tom Brady's seal of approval on everything. Hell, I was reading earlier today, Leonard Fournette telling the story about he went up to New England to do a visit with the team because he was shopping around, seeing what the best deal is. Tom calls up, or he sees that he's in Foxborough and says, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm shopping around. I'm going to find me the best deal." He was like, "Hold on, I'll call you back." And Tom didn't call him back. Light called him back, the GM, and offered him a contract. Tom Brady runs more of that organization than you think.
Well, that's all well and good. At the end of the day, Tom ain't making the decisions of, what are we going to do on 3rd and 4 defensively? He's not making the decision of, hey, we're at the 50, should we go for this? And I'm telling you, you're going to laugh at me when I say that. This is not the same coach this is not the no risk it, no biscuit. And think about how many games you've had that were close, that Bruce Arians just deferred to Tom and Byron Leftwich, and we're going to convert this.
Yep.
That ain't who you're dealing with now. I'm telling you right now, it won't take a month into this season before you go, oh, this is different than I thought. Because this is a defensive guy. That is what Todd Bowles' reputation is built on. And he's not going to be as apt on the 40-yard line to just go, yeah, you know what, we'll go for it. And you tell me I'm crazy. I did watch it for 3 years. And yes, I do know there's a difference between Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tom Brady. I get that. I'm giving that leeway. It's not as different as you think.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Coming up in the next hour, we'll talk about the Tennessee Titans, you call them a reigning number 1 seed in the AFC playoffs. It sounds very hollow when you say it that way. But we'll talk about them coming up in the 4 o'clock hour as we roll on with our pre-training camp previews of each and every NFL team. First, let's get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Our 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery question of the day is about players playing through the pain. Do you knock a guy who can't compete through the pain? You know, it depends on the injury, obviously. Well, here is the story that fits our question of the day very, very well. French track star Wilfred Hapio. He was running in the national championships last Saturday. He won the national title in the 400-meter hurdles at the French Elite Athletics Championships, and he did it 20 minutes after he was assaulted on the track. Somebody got past security and beat the holy bleep out of this guy. He won the race with a personal best, by the way, in the 400-meter hurdles with a 48.57-second run with a patch over his eye. He was so battered from this guy. I think we all owe a big hats off to Wilfred Hapio for not only competing in the race after he had been assaulted on the track by some guy who they still don't, it's not been said who this guy was or why he attacked this runner, but he punched him several times in the face. He was vomiting up blood on the start line and still won the national championship, still set a personal best. And, of course, he's pressing charges, obviously, against the guy who did it, and there's a lot of questions for security now as well.
That's an athlete who you cannot question his desire to win.
Indeed.
My story is about a guy that's getting a lot of questions about his desire to win. Earlier, or late last week, I should say, a story came out that Shaquille O'Neal was very interested in buying the Orlando Magic. There's a story out today that says that can't happen soon enough. Chet Holmgren went number 2 to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of people that thought he was the best player in this draft. There were obviously questions about his the body frame, first of all, because he's a skinny little feller.
Right.
But also his competitive desire. And this doesn't shine it on any better of a light. According to multiple sources with knowledge of the situation, Chet Holmgren bailed on the last day of his Orlando Magic workout. We already knew that.
Okay.
What we didn't know is that he showed up late, was absolutely terrible from the floor, and every member of the front office, as soon as he walked out the door, went, well, we're not taking him.
Was he hungover? Or?
The thought is that he intentionally bombed his workout with the Magic to keep them from taking him.
Oh, that's cheap.
Is it, though?
I mean, it is. Come on.
It, though? Now, listen, Mr. NIL, of guys should have free range of movement, and they should be able to transfer wherever they want to. Chet Holmgren didn't want to play for the Magic.
Yeah.
He at least did enough to show up. He didn't have to show up.
True. I mean, this is the same guy who didn't release his medical records to anybody.
No, because he knew he was going at 2. He wanted to go 2. I'm not holding that against you.
I don't. It's just seedy, though.
Look, first of all, if you're choosing who you're taking based on a pre-draft workout, tell me why you're the Orlando Magic without telling me why you're the Orlando Magic.
Right.
And for posterity's sake, you do realize they didn't even work out Paulo Banchero, right?
Really?
He was never in the building. That's why it threw me off so bad that they took him, because he hadn't even been in the building. They said they had talked to him through the pre-draft process and that they were comfortable enough with who he was to take him at 1.
Mm-hmm.
And yet your workout with Chet Holmgren's okay, something stinks there. Something stinks there.
Yeah, I'm conflicted because part of me wants to be like, if you're going to show up for the job interview, you do well. But if you don't really want the job, then what? I don't know.
See, to me, this is like Rob Gronkowski showing up at Ohio State hungover. Like, I mean, if you draft me, I'm going to show up. So, I mean, I want to at least say hi.
Right.
Know who I'm going to be dealing with.
Right.
I don't like your chances.
He did that, really?
Gronk?
I don't think I've ever heard that story.
Gronkowski?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the pictures are tremendous. Looks like me at about 8:30 on a Saturday morning. Just hair is parted across the side, and it was at a Michigan-Ohio State game. And he looks like he's being held there against his will.
Wow. So Chet Holmgren threw his workout with the Orlando Magic.
And this goes into a bigger story to me of why can guys not just look at a team and go, I don't want to play for you?
Mm-hmm. Like
I can respect Jaden Ivey. He looked at the Kings and said, you take me, it's going to be a problem.
Right.
And I don't blame you, especially in the NBA where you're basically locked into, unless you're traded.
Maybe that's where I come down on this. Like, don't go to the thing and tank the interview, basically. Just don't go. If you don't want to play for him, tell him you don't want to play for him and just don't go.
Well, my thought with Holmgren was there were already so many questions about him in the first place. I don't think he wanted the bad PR, so he tried to do everything the right way.
Right.
Which means it was probably the agent's idea. I mean, I said on this show he would not release his medical records to any team past Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
He did at least give those to Orlando. So if they wanted to take him, I think he would have gone and been fine. But he didn't want to.
Yeah, he just
and it
didn't
was
want to,
widely known.
He just didn't want to make himself look good.
It was widely known. And in the NBA, I just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You are so stuck there because they can overpay you. Compared to what you can get on the open market, there's a reason that you cannot think of one discernible player that has ever walked away from that second deal because nobody can contend with it. If you're that level of player, you're going to catch the second deal with whoever drafted you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can force a trade. You can get lucky like Tyrese Halliburton, who they saw he was as good at basketball as they thought he was and went, no, you're too good to play here. You need to play somewhere else right now.
Right. I don't know. This is like if you're trying to scam the government on unemployment benefits, and so you schedule the interview with the business, and then you show up and you just, of course, answer all the wrong questions, and you don't get the job. What am I going to do?
What are you, a cop?
Yeah,
exactly. Okay. Hey, listen here, Mr. High and Mighty.
The ACC is going through some changes. One major change next year, not for the 2022 season, but for the 2023 season, there will be no divisions anymore.
Thank
we will
God.
not have the Atlantic and the Coastal split up anymore. Everybody's going to be in one big mishmash of a pile, and I guess they're still going to do the championship. It'll just
it'll be the top
one
two
and
teams.
two. Yeah,
this is the way it should be. Divisions are stupid. In anything. You cannot give me one sport that benefits from a division.
NFL?
No.
Divisions are dumb?
They're awful. A team has to make the playoffs from the NFC East. Stop.
Right.
It's been 3 years since one of those teams really deserved to make the playoffs. Oh, so that you're the best at beating the rest of the dregs in your division. The only reason we ever did that was because of ease of travel. I could literally leave this studio right now, get in my car, go to the Asheville Regional Airport with no ticket in hand, and be in L.A. before the sun went down. I don't think it's that big a problem.
So no divisions anymore for the ACC. So now it opens things up. They're going to do a 3-5-5 schedule, which means you're going to have 3 permanent rivalries who you will play every year, and then you will have 5 home games, 5 away games, and it will rotate every other year on what teams you play. So no more of this. We have to wait 6 years to see North Carolina play Wake Forest.
Yeah,
we don't have to. We don't have to do that anymore.
And you don't have to have non-conference games where Wake Forest and Carolina played a non-conference game. That's dumb.
It is dumb. In the same conference, but it doesn't count toward the conference schedule.
And that's even coming from a guy that pulls for a team that got absolutely railroaded in this primary opponents thing.
In the primary opponents. Well, I mean,
Florida State catches Clemson and Miami.
Yeah.
Wake Forest got Duke, Georgia Tech, and Virginia Tech. Advantage, not Seminoles.
North Carolina's 3 constant rivals will, of course, be Duke, will be NC State, and Virginia, the South's oldest rivalry. So those all made sense. There may be some, Wake Forest people who are upset that the other, North Carolina team didn't get a permanent rivalry with North Carolina, but you had to keep the Virginia game. I mean, that's been going on since the 1800s.
Yeah, I don't think Wake Forest can be upset that they get to play Duke every year.
No.
Or Georgia Tech. I will say that this 3-5-5 layout does really put a microscope on how there are ACC teams, and then there are ACC teams.
Right.
Like Boston College you're in the ACC. But, I mean, we're just going to match you up with the Big East teams.
Mm-hmm.
Their 3 primary opponents, all 3 teams that came out of the Big East.
Yep. Miami, Pitt, and Syracuse.
There has been no real effort to ingratiate them into this. And I hate to break it, it's because they don't matter.
No.
Boston College is completely irrelevant in this. You will get what we give you. Sorry about your luck.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to be better at things, and then maybe we'll care about you.
I feel like Virginia Tech's one of those, too.
They are. And Virginia Tech is a good program.
That. Or at least I thought they were better. They were more well received by the ACC family than that.
That part's definitively no.
Okay.
We're just now getting to a point where Florida State is ingratiated into the ACC family. Hey, thanks, Syracuse. Right. Really appreciate that. Much easier for us Florida State people to do things in the ACC now.
We can accept you now because you don't just kick the tar out of all of us every year.
Well, that might have been a thing.
Right.
We came in and in football, we didn't lose a game for 8 years.
Right. I mean,
I get why you'd be a little upset about that.
I didn't even know Florida State was a school before they joined the ACC, and then lo and behold, they never lose, and now we all hate them.
Can you tell me the conference they came out of?
No.
In the YouTube chat, first person to say it, we'll shout you out on the radio or something. We're already doing giveaways, so you're not going to win based on that. But I'm just curious to see if anybody can name it.
Yeah, I don't even remember. Like I said, I didn't even know they were a school until they joined. Of course, by the time they joined, I was 10.
You do have a gap in your knowledge from like 94 to about 2002.
Yep.
It's about the time you discovered, like girls and stuff, isn't it? I'm sure that's just accidental.
It's when I struck out on my own, and because I'll tell you why, and I think I've said this before on this show. When I was growing up, it was our teams and nothing else. So it was, if we were watching baseball, we were watching the Boston Red Sox. When the Tar Heels lost in any sport, there was nothing else. We never watched a national championship game that didn't include the Tar Heels, nothing. Seasons were over when our teams were done. So, yeah, I was a little older when I started going, hey, wait a minute. There's like 30 other teams in all of these leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Florida State joining the ACC just ruined everything in football.
For about 10 years.
For about 10 years, yeah, absolutely.
It hasn't been that bad for the last 10 years.
That is true. It's been much easier to handle.
Maybe for you. It has not been easier to handle for me.
Well, I mean, you're spoiled. But, yeah, ACC getting rid of the divisions. I think I looked over all of the matchups, all of the permanent rivalries. I think they did it right. Like I said, the only argument a North Carolina person might have is that Wake Forest isn't one of them. But what are you going to do? You're going to kick out Virginia?
There's nothing really that I have an issue with. I mean, I feel like like I said, they keep those Big East teams together.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you could have tried to spread that out a little bit to more ingratiate them into the conference, but I understand why you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You gave preferential treatment to the North Carolinas, NC States, Dukes, Wake Forests, Virginia. That's been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be upset at you about that.
And again, as you said, the other schools were the Big East cast-off, so obviously they got paired with each other because they have longer histories with each other.
Hugh Queen in our YouTube comments said his big takeaway was taking away Wake Forest and NC State. There was going to be a few of those just because there's nothing you can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at what Wake Forest got, they did get another team within the North Carolina triangle. You had to give somebody to Virginia Tech. Virginia was the only one that made total sense.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give somebody to Louisville. So there was obviously going to be a hole there somewhere, but at least you get that game, every 2 years? They'll play every 2 years, every 3 years.
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's...
I haven't talked...
this is the problem of when you go into 14 and 16 team conferences. Some of these rivalries are going to go away.
Right. And, they're not going to go away. They'll take intermittent breaks.
I just hope they do a better job than... And obviously, I'm attached to this one. like West Virginia and Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing this year for the first time in forever. That's not good. You got to nurture those relationships. I don't really care what it means. You got to find a way to make sure that you continue to play those.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier when you're still within the same conference. So you're going to play every other year. Yay. Maybe if you don't have a non-conference team, you can play that one.
Right.
But I'm glad there's no more divisions. The discrepancy in the ACC has been so clear for so long that getting rid of that is it will be a blessing in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it will give those coastal teams, we're going to have to step our game up or they will completely alienate us from the ACC championship game.
Right. NC State, I haven't talked to sports freak Brian Hall today, but I would love to know what his reaction was when he found out Clemson was one of their all-time rivals.
Oh, I bet I know what it is. The NCAA hates us. This had nothing to do with the NCAA.
Yeah, no, probably not. I mean, you have a trophy for that game, right? That's the Textile Bowl or something like that.
Sure.
I think
it's something like that.
I think it is. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll be right back.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
They say singing can help you remember things, so here's some tips for parents out there during these tough times.
Number 1. Make sure your kids wash their hands for 20 seconds after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside. 2. Virtual play dates. Social and physical distancing can help save lives. 3. Tell them they're safe and show your love and pride. Yes, we'll get through this together.
Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Hey folks, DG here. Y'all know I've always loved the slogan, Smiles Change Lives, which I first heard years ago from Dr. Rebecca Merrill of Asheville Smiles. I hope you will live that slogan here in 2022. Whether it's just time for a routine cleaning, you want to learn more about Invisalign, a great alternative to braces, you need a diagnosis and treatment plan, or if you don't have dental insurance, you just want to learn more about her special membership plans. 828-251-2426 or AshevilleSmiles.com.
Are you ready for a change to something where you work with your hands installing cable? Spectrum Cable pays their field technicians $20 per hour, and they're having a job fair from 10 to 2 on June 30th. They're doing on-site interviews at their 89 Peachtree Road location, and they require no experience. Apply now for benefits like 401k, discounted cable, internet, and phone services too. Mark your calendar for Thursday, June 30th, 10 to 2, and come apply to be a field technician with Spectrum.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution: DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with a push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
They say to never mess with the classics, but Panera did just that and more with our new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. By using pan-seared chicken, our secret garlic aioli recipe, Parmesan crisps, and pickle chips, all on a buttery brioche roll. Because if no one messed with the classics, you'd never have a chicken sandwich this good. New Chef's Chicken Sandwiches from Panera. Only $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit PaneraBread.com/delivery info.
On July 1st, Chris Pratt stars in The Terminal List.
Lieutenant Commander James Reese,
Can you outline the details of your mission?
It was a setup. They knew we were coming.
Nothing in this file adds up.
From Antoine Fuqua, Director of Training Day.
Answers or blood? Blood. Stay off my list.
The Terminal List. New series, July 1st on Prime Video.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy, part of the basketball news today. Yeah, we're going to talk about Kyrie Irving in the next hour at some point. But part of the news today in contracts is that John Wall has agreed to a buyout with the Houston Rockets. And now he's expected to join the Clippers.
Actually, there's probably the one team that could have signed John Wall that I would like.
Okay.
Because he'll start, but he'll be one of those, he starts.
Mm-hmm.
As they'll sit down with about 6 minutes to go, Reggie Jackson will come in. Then when PG-13 and Kawhi sit down, that's when John Wall comes back. And he can do what he needs to do. Because he's not a great passer. That's all. He's always been grossly overrated in that. But he can do that microwave scorer thing. He's basically a much better version of Reggie Jackson. And having those two together, I don't have a problem with that.
And after the announcement, Caesars Sportsbook, they upped or I guess increased the odds that the Los Angeles Clippers are going to win the title next year. They're now third in line.
It's decreased the odds.
Or decreased the odds, excuse me.
Which is stupid. If you're changing your opinion about the Clippers based on John Wall, you shouldn't.
They are now plus 700 behind just two teams, the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics.
And a quick shout-out to Bob Browning for being the one person so far that I have seen that got this right. Florida State left the Metro. Which was a formidable conference at one time.
What is formidable is the PhD weight loss program. I've been doing PhD weight loss since just before Thanksgiving, and I've lost over 77 pounds. Dr. Ashley Lucas and the PhD team have changed my life. I think about my life completely differently now. I used to just have a crutch, which was food, and I always chose the wrong things. Now, thanks to their teaching me better nutrition, I'm down 77 pounds, and I'm feeling better than I have in my life, basically.
They've changed my life as well. I was never really heavy. I was just always a little chunky, and it caused problems in my life. I didn't sleep as well. Sleep apnea was an issue. I had issues with my knees and back. Now, been on this program for 6 months. I'm back down to my high school weight. I'm walking golf courses, and I'm sleeping like a baby, and it's all thanks to the program and nutrition of PhD Weight Loss.
Get with the folks that changed our lives. MyPhDWeightLoss.com is the website. PhD Weight Loss is the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, most of the thunderstorms have pushed on down into South Carolina. A little cold front has cleared Asheville. That lower humidity feeling good tonight in the 50s and 60s across the area. Chance for isolated thunderstorms Wednesday, a high of 81. And then a chance for an isolated storm or two into the holiday weekend as well. High temperatures in the low 80s. Nighttime low temps in the mid-60s. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
Ray Magliozzi here. The tear in my driver's seat does have sentimental value since my butt's molded to fit it. But I'm ready for a new one from eBay Motors with all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. Till then, I'll just scooch. eBay Motors, let's ride.
They say to never mess with the classics, but Panera did that and more with their new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. Pan-seared chicken, a secret garlic aioli recipe, Parmesan crisps, and pickled chips all on a buttery brioche roll. Try one for only a $1 delivery fee when you order on their app. Restrictions apply.
They say to never mess with the classics, but Panera did just that and more with our new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. By using pan-seared chicken, our secret garlic aioli recipe, Parmesan crisps, and pickle chips, all on a buttery brioche roll. Because if no one messed with the classics, you'd never have a chicken sandwich this good. New Chef's Chicken Sandwiches from Panera. Only $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit PaneraBread.com/delivery info.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Washington's making Terry McLaurin among the NFL's top 5 highest-paid receivers. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the 26-year-old signing a 3-year extension worth up to $71 million in new money. NBA, from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, Jazz finalizing a 5-year contract with Celtics assistant Will Hardy to make him the team's new head coach. Kyrie Irving staying put, told The Athletic he's opting into his $36.5 million option with the Nets. Brooklyn got its answer from Irving, now needs to work on tweaking its roster, suggests ESPN's Zach Lowe.
Who's the 5th guy in their lineup with Kyrie, Joe Harris, Ben, and KD? Is it a big guy? Is it a small guy? Is it Bruce Brown? Is Joe Harris? What kind of role does he have next year? How do they retool this roster? Because they do have some things to play with. I think the Nets are going to be busier in the next 4 or 5 days than people think they will be, trying to retool this team around these big three that we have never seen play together.
Russell Westbrook plans to exercise his $47 million player option with the Lakers, according to Woj. LA hoping for a comeback season out of Westbrook.
If you need solid hires fast, you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates from the same place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, Bills. That's Bills. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNAVL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here in the Ingles Studio. Ingles Supermarkets, low prices, love the savings. The Sportsocracy live from the Ingles Studio here on 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. And, of course, we're heard live or on demand anywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. You can also see us everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the Sportsocracy channel on YouTube so you can get all of the extra content. You can get all of the alerts on when we go live for various events. And more importantly, you can get into the chat, your best way to get in touch with us immediately here on the program. We are going one AFC, one NFC team each and every day leading up to NFL training camps. And we did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first hour. Now it's time to talk about the Tennessee Titans, last year's #1 seed in the AFC playoffs. And the big question is, can they do it again? And how much are they going to miss A.J. Brown?
The A.J. Brown thing is certainly going to hurt. But I feel like dirt is being thrown on this team that I don't get.
It's because you don't know what they have. I mean, Ryan Tannehill, good quarterback, not great, but he's good.
So what is so markedly different from last year?
A.J. Brown. That's the big thing.
All right, so here's my question. Would you rather have A.J. Brown and Julio Jones or Robert Woods and Treylon Burks?
I would go Robert Woods and Treylon Burks.
I would too, and I don't really think it's all that close, and I think A.J. Brown's one of the 5 best receivers in this league.
As Julio turned up to be a complete disaster last year.
As he has for several years now.
Yeah. I mean, Father Time catches up with us all, unless you're Tom Brady. And Julio Jones has not been able to escape that. It's an understatement. So, yeah, I mean, you talk about the weapons that they have this year. I mean, at least at this point, your 3 is Nick Westbrook-Akina, not your 2.
And there is this revisionist history. A.J. Brown has been hurt a lot. Now, has he played through it at times? Yes. Do you realize he's never broken 1,100 yards in a season?
Really?
Never once. He's never had more than 70 receptions in a season. I just don't think it's that big of a difference. Yes, he's a great impact when he's on the field. The problem is he's not on the field and as much as you would want, and when he is, there are a lot of times where he's been limited. Now, that doesn't change how impactful he is. But there's this thought that he's just under what Cooper Kupp was last year. It's just not true. And in this offense, which is, I'm going to say the same thing about Tennessee that I've said about Baltimore time and time and time again. When every team in the league is getting smaller, shiftier, and faster, Tennessee's just loading up to punch you right in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one bad playoff game from Ryan Tannehill does not really change who he is. Now, I'm not going to say that people weren't too high on him before. They're definitely too low on him now. And I just look at this team very similar to the team that was the 1 seed in the AFC last year. Now, was it a week 1? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all know that. Because you had 2 bad teams in your division and one that had very spotty quarterback play.
Mm-hmm.
Now that team has shored up the quarterback position. I don't necessarily think you're the best team in this division, but I still think this is a team that will contend for a playoff spot.
Does Tennessee have the best quarterback in this division?
No, that's Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan's above him. I mean,
Not by a lot.
I would tend to agree with that, but I think it's close.
And that's where I was headed with that. I think it's close.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ryan Tannehill just does different things. He's never going to jump off the page statistically. But the fact that he can hurt you with his legs, he's deceptively athletic. This is an offense predicated on the fact that they can run the ball. And now I'm going to say something that has just been grossly overlooked. Name me a better blocking wide receiver in the NFL than Robert Woods.
It's a good call.
I've tried all day. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find one. And I think he plays into this offense. He's still a good receiver. And I like Treylon Burks. I know he's had some asthma issues. Maybe he was a little out of shape. I mean, these were things we knew going into the draft. It just wasn't that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, name me the last player that asthma kept out of the NFL.
Right. It is a bad sign when those reports come out early in a player's career in training camp. But I think he's going to be an impact player in this league. I don't think there's much question about that.
I think it's going to take time, but we said that in the pre-draft process. The kid didn't really run a route tree. I said this is literally Deebo Samuel. They manufactured touches for him. That's how he got the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He does not run an NFL route tree. Okay. What's the best place for that player to go? To the team that just did the exact same thing with a receiver and turned him into a borderline Pro Bowler.
I think, to me, the real question is how good will Austin Hooper be?
Do you care?
I do care.
Why?
Because I want to see Ryan Tannehill have another reliable weapon. And I believed that's what Austin Hooper was when he was in Atlanta. And we didn't get to see it with Cleveland. And I just wondered how effective he will be. Because I think he could be kind of a missing link kind of a thing for the passing game for Tennessee.
And I'm just not overly worried about it. I mean, I think so long as he's healthy, he's going to be better than Anthony Firkser.
I don't think there's much question, yeah.
I mean, and I hear this a lot of, they need Hooper to be this or you do realize their leading tight end receiver last year had 300 total yards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a stretch to say he's going to be drastically better than that.
But once you get into the playoffs, you need that extra little something, right? I mean, what was Tennessee's biggest downfall last year? Was it because the defense couldn't stand up in the playoffs or what?
Tennessee kind of got the death by 1,000 paper cuts.
You
were snake-bitten injury-wise. By the end of the year, you were beaten to just within an inch of your lives. You had already lost Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
There was just a lot of instability, and then you didn't have the firepower when you got into the playoffs. Here's what nobody seems to remember. They took the Bengals as far as you could possibly take them and not beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And yet now I'm supposed to believe that this is the 10th best team in the AFC? To me, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's dumb.
That's where they're at. I mean, you look across every betting site in this country, they're somewhere between 8 and 10 most likely to win the AFC. And that's insane to me. You have to look at who they play. You have to look at the defense and I almost don't want to say this because I am a karma superstitious individual. You almost cannot be as hurt as you were last year. The secondary has to be healthier.
Mm-hmm.
How much time did this secondary miss last year? You got Caleb Farley coming back, who people seem to have just thrown dirt on his grave. Oh, well, he played 48 snaps his rookie year. He sucks.
Mm-hmm.
No, he was hurt, and we knew that coming in. And I think you have to give the credence to that. Name me the position they got worse at. Where did this team get worse than the number one seed in the AFC last year?
I don't know.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I don't know.
They had one receiver with more than 476 yards last year. But Robert Woods is a downgrade from Julio Jones. Oh, you mean the guy that had 31 receptions the entire year? No, Julio Jones is a bigger name.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, which one would I rather have on my team?
Robert Woods.
And it's not even kind of close.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the step back is between A.J. Brown and Treylon Burks, but he was hurt so often, hampered by a hamstring or his knee hurt or his ankle hurt. I'm just not sure it's that different. And then you look at a shored-up defense in a bad division. I would say there's probably not a bet out there that I like better than Tennessee makes the playoffs. And you're catching about plus 400 odds right now on that.
Right.
Which is insane. You're catching 4-1 that they make the playoffs in certain places. Average is about plus 250.
Wouldn't be a horrible investment.
No, because I don't really see a way that they're not going to.
Well, it's going to depend on how close the AFC is. And I mean, we've seen the last 2 years we've seen teams in the AFC just miss out on the playoffs with double-digit wins. So, I mean,
you haven't seen many teams miss the playoffs with 10 wins. All right, fun game. They going to lose to the Giants?
No.
You're going to split one with the Colts, right?
Probably.
They do that almost every single year. Got 4 wins against the Texans and the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
And then you play the Commanders. They like your chances of winning that one. The Cowboys, who I think you're exponentially better than,
mm-hmm.
and the Eagles. You just win those games, you need one more win. And it's not like you're light years behind these other teams. I have them as a 10-win team. Whether that makes the playoffs kind of depends on the AFC West.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, Cleveland's irrelevant. Pittsburgh's
Agreed.
irrelevant.
Agreed.
The Jets are irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
The other two teams in this division are irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
One of those teams out west is going to be. It's not a huge leap to say that they're going to be better than the Dolphins.
True.
That's about all you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's this revisionist history. And I'll be honest with you, this is the Baker Mayfield syndrome. The expectation was so high with them being the one. The fact they came in and lost, people never forgive you for that.
Right.
People never forgive you for being a number 1 overall pick that's not an all-pro. You're still good. You can throw dirt on their grave all you want to. This team's still good. They're still going to run the ball down your throat. The line's still good.
Wait. Did Jeremy just say Baker Mayfield's good?
I mean, if he'd been a third round
roundabout way,
if he was a third round pick, yeah, it would have been a great one.
I think you did in a roundabout way. That was a compliment of Baker Mayfield.
It was
Jeremy
a backhanded
Greene.
compliment.
Mark your calendar, June 28th, 2022.
It was a backhanded compliment. It wasn't like, oh, hey, we're gonna go.
The point is well taken, though. I mean, Tennessee they are still a contending team. You know, Derrick Henry's health. Obviously, this team hinges a lot on that, or at least I thought they did. And then they kept winning games last year, despite the fact that Derrick Henry was sidelined, and it didn't really matter. It all came out to scheme. Hell, Dontrell Hilliard was rolling off big games. Mm-hmm. And now, I mean, Derrick Henry goes down this year. You like Hassan Haskins in this scheme?
No. I mean, but I've seen running backs work here. And I see in our YouTube comments, Lenny Loxley said, this team's too easy to scheme against. That's the thing. Are they easy to scheme against? Yes. The problem is that you don't have the players to do it because they're one of 2 teams in the league that wants to beat you this way. It's the reason the Browns were good. That team was not overly talented. The problem is they can load 7 gigantic humans and run Nick Chubb at you. You can't stop them because you have these little 240-pound outside linebackers that just get obliterated against teams like this. You ever notice that teams like this always draft gigantic tackles?
Yes.
Why? Because they're trying to best what it is that you're scheming against the rest of the league. They know hat on hat they're not Buffalo. They're not Cincinnati. There aren't a whole lot of teams that are built to throw. It was short of going 8 in the box, which is how Ryan Tannehill beat you because he's not overly accurate. He beat you on a play action. It's one-on-one, and I have receivers that can beat your guy one-on-one.
And Tennessee's added more beef to the offensive line with the Nicholas Petit-Ferrer pick.
Of which I told you they were going to draft him. I just had the round wrong.
You just had the wrong round. That's right. Roger McCreary added to the secondary. So they got another young stud that can come in and boost this this secondary that has taken a lot of lumps over the last few years. I'm not saying it's not warranted, but Caleb Farley and Christian Fulton, that's a pretty damn good start.
And you have
Kevin Byard.
And you have, in my opinion, the best pair of safeties in the NFL in Hooker and Kevin Byard.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand what it is that everybody else is seeing. This has become like the forgotten team of, oh, well, they were an overrated one. They were still the one.
Yeah.
And this is going to be quite a fall for you to miss the playoffs. Now, the problem is that when you get to the playoffs, I don't think you can contend. You can't shoot out with Cincinnati.
Right.
I mean, we saw that in the playoffs, and that was before Cincinnati had even really hit their stride. That was a young Cincinnati team that didn't know what they didn't know, and they just came in and you couldn't outgun them.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to continue to be a problem. Now, where that could be mitigated, you catch a snowy game in the playoffs, advantage Tennessee Titans.
Yep.
I will take them and the Baltimore Ravens in January in 40-degree weather or lower against practically any team.
Last year, the Bud Dupree signing was a bit of a letdown. People expected more out of him, but I mean, heck, if you get a healthy Bud Dupree this year with Harold Landry, who just got paid, and Jeffrey Simmons, who's just a monster, this is a team that can get after quarterbacks. I like what Mike Vrabel and company have put together here. And I think he's a good coach. I know you have your bugaboos about Mike Vrabel, but I think he's a damn good coach.
He's fine.
He's a hell of a motivator.
He agitates me from time to time. I mean, if we were picking coaches in the NFL that I don't want to get into a fight with, he is definitely in the top 2 or 3.
I don't think anybody could blame you for that.
Yeah, not one. Bill. I'll take Bill.
In short, though, the Tennessee Titans, they may not be number 1 seed in the AFC. They will not be. I'll go ahead and say they will not be the number 1 seed in the AFC.
I don't even think they're going to win the division. I just feel like people they've jumped off the ship on this team far too aggressively. And that's maybe it's the gambler in me. Of when I see the public go one way, the public in large part, and this is no shot at the public, you are what you are, you're sheep. You follow each other right off the cliff. I have made quite a living doing this for quite some time. And Tennessee's one of the 5 teams I'm just looking at going, the public's so wrong about this that I'm going to be heavily on the other side.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Tomorrow, our pre-camp previews will center on the next 2 teams that got eliminated in that second round of the playoffs.
Who are those teams?
One is Jeremy's
2023 Super Bowl champion Buffalo Bills.
And we'll talk about the Green Bay Packers as well. Aaron Rodgers back in town. Does it matter that Devontae Adams is gone? We'll get into the previews of those 2 teams coming up tomorrow. One at the top of every hour right here in the Sportsocracy over the next 13 shows before NFL training camps kick off.
There's one thing that definitively matters.
What's that?
And it matters a lot. And you should take this into all of your lead up into the 2022 NFL season.
Okay.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, Kyrie Irving, Russell Westbrook. Yeah, they're still in the news. We got contract news coming up next from the NBA. Stick with us.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, most of the thunderstorms have pushed on down into South Carolina. A little cold front has cleared Asheville. That lower humidity feeling good tonight in the 50s and 60s across the area. Chance for isolated thunderstorms Wednesday, a high of 81. And then a chance for an isolated storm or two into the holiday weekend as well. High temperatures in the low 80s. Nighttime low temps in the mid-60s. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go 26 westbound approaching Long Shoals Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. On the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, traffic moving well and steady. Smoky Park Highway problem-free. Patton Avenue moving well. New Leicester Highway, no delays. Cane Creek Road at Concord Road, traffic is slow. In Horseshoe, US 64 between Cummings Road and Banner Farm Road, delays both directions. Checking the drive time from North Asheville to Biltmore Village via Merriman Avenue and Biltmore Avenue. Drive time 17 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
Ray Magliozzi here. I'd like to carry more parts, but I barely have room to think in my garage. Luckily, eBay Motors has all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. Can't imagine stocking that many parts. Where would I get all those shelves? eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Here's to the great American settlers, the millions of you who settled for unsatisfying jobs because they pay the bills. Of course, there is something else you could do if you got something to say. Start a podcast with Spreaker from iHeart and unleash your creative freedom. Maybe even earn enough money to one day tell your old boss, "Hey, I'm no settler. I'm an explorer." Spreaker.com. Spreaker. Hustle on over today.
It's a can't miss summer on Today. This week, we'll help you plan your summer getaway. Plus, the star of Minions, Steve Carell. And Keith Urban kicks off your weekend. Watch the Today Show every morning on NBC.
They say to never mess with the classics, but Panera did just that and more with our new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. By using pan-seared chicken, our secret garlic aioli recipe, Parmesan crisps, and pickle chips, all on a buttery brioche roll. Because if no one messed with the classics, you'd never have a chicken sandwich this good. New Chef's Chicken Sandwiches from Panera. Only $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit PaneraBread.com/delivery info.
Everyone loves shopping online. Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs. Stop searching for coupon codes. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free, and you don't even need a Capital One card to use it. That's like hitting a hole-in-one without even trying. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
Fans of the Sportsocracy, it's time for the 4th of July summer sales event at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Great prices on new and used vehicles, and they're paying top dollar for your trade. Our friends at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville are paying an extra $250 for your used vehicle just to show their love for fans of our show. Mention this ad and tell them the Sportsocracy sent you. Visit them online at andersonnissan.com at their 629 Brevard Road location, or give them a call 365-1663.
Now is the time to get in the driver's seat of your career. Ingles Markets is looking for new regional drivers to join our Land to Sky distributors fleet. Start with 2 weeks paid time off and paid holidays. Our drivers average over $80,000 per year and they're home every week. Land to Sky offers excellent pay and a great benefits package. 6 months of CDLA driving experience is required to apply. Visit ingles-markets.com/careers to know more. That's ingles-markets.com/careers.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
Back here in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, and of course the Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. And in the NBA, we had 2 opt-ins reported overnight, early this morning. The official deadline to file the paperwork on your player options is tomorrow. Russell Westbrook going to claim his $47.1 million player option for next year to stay with the Los Angeles Lakers.
If you had any reaction other than duh. Of course he did. Russell Westbrook has to look at $47 million and go, this is highway robbery.
Yep.
They should put me in jail for this.
He is in the final year of his 5-year, $207 million contract.
And that aged well, didn't it? You remember all those years that I said, this is the most overrated player in any sport in my lifetime. And seemingly every time I said it, my Twitter would go crazy, and people would say, oh, you are the worst. You don't know what you're talking about. Look at it. More triple doubles than, yeah, about that.
Mm-hmm. And now you see.
That's who you got.
Right.
That's what he is.
Right.
You are who you are.
And even when the, even when the big three, dare I say, were together with the Los Angeles Lakers this past year, it wasn't great.
No, it was terrible.
And they were 11-10 in the 21 games that LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook were all available. That's not good.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
It's at least not as good as you were sold it was going to be. This was going to be, an unstoppable trio. And the fact that they're, two of them are, well, one of them is way over the hill. The other one is way overrated, and the other one is way overly hurt. It's a disaster. The Los Angeles Lakers are a joke.
And then you have the one that everyone has overreacted to.
That's right. Kyrie Irving saying that he will be back in Brooklyn, that he will see y'all in the fall. $36.5 million player option. He is opting in.
But notice he didn't say, I'll see you in Brooklyn in the fall. All he said is, I'll see you in the – we knew you were going to play.
Mm-hmm. Well,
nobody thought you were opting out of this to go play for the Detroit Pistons. The story that went around yesterday of, well, he could opt out and take $6 million from the Lakers. Well, he also could sprout wings and fly.
Mm-hmm.
I value those two things to be about as equally possible. Does Kyrie Irving strike you as the kind of guy that's going to give up $30 million?
Hell no.
Especially when he just handed over $17 million last year for not getting a vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that was never likely.
Right.
And you could hear this narrative of this makes it so much less likely that he plays with the Lakers next year. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That was always how this was going to go. It was always going to take Russell Westbrook going to Brooklyn and Kyrie Irving coming to L.A.
Mm-hmm.
These two teams have to be that tired of who they're dealing with. Neither was given money back. This narrative, well, now Kyrie is committed. No, he's not. He would take the first flight out of Brooklyn if he could find one.
Mm-hmm. Problem is nobody wants him.
L.A. does. L.A. still wants him.
Well, okay.
Now here's the question: Do you want to play Russell? Do you want to pay Russell Westbrook $47 million, or do you want to pay Kyrie $36? That's the question ahead of Brooklyn.
But you got to. I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, in this scenario, it's the Rochambeau that the John Wall Russell Westbrook trade was.
That is still one of the funniest things we have ever said on this show.
It is. I mean, just.
If you don't know what that means,
I'll kick you, Squire. You quick kick me, Squire, and we'll call it even.
Eventually, one of us will fall down,
right?
And the game will be over.
Exactly. But that's how this is going to be yet again. I mean, you're going to have to eat the proverbial cow pie to be able to stomach a deal like this. You're getting Kyrie Irving, yeah, but you're getting the headache. Yeah, but we get rid of one in Russell Westbrook. Same thing with Brooklyn. Brooklyn gets rid of the headache, yeah, but you're going to have to take on Russell.
And I mean, my thought is, nothing that I said yesterday has changed. I will still take any wager you want of Kyrie Irving does not play another game in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have just a litany of problems. First of all, the head coach, he and the head coach hate each other. There's a story
Steve
floating
Nash
around.
Like him?
Oh, that's always been a problem. There's a little story floating around that he made an offhand comment about MVPs to Steve Nash at a cookout in March that apparently did not sit well.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Do you know where Kobe's MVPs are? Because Kobe beat him for an MVP in a year that he could have won it.
Okay. Yeah, that's not Still too soon.
Well, there's still the problem here is that there's too many bridges to mend. And I'll be honest with you, I've asked this around since he opted in last night. This hasn't changed anything.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn still has zero interest in lathering up and doing this again. And I heard Dan Patrick had a poll question today of who plays more games next year for the Nets, Kyrie Irving or Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is not close.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Simmons is not even close.
Because if he plays he wins.
If he plays a game, now that's this could be a draw of neither.
Right.
But it changed absolutely nothing for me.
Mm-hmm. Other news in the NBA before we get weird. Sources say that the Utah Jazz have a new head coach. They're finalizing a deal with Boston Celtics assistant Will Hardy, who came off of the Greg Popovich tree. He started out as like a film guy for the San Antonio Spurs.
So did Eric Spoelstra.
Mm-hmm. Got elevated to assistant coach. He was an assistant for 1 year under Ime Udoka with the Boston Celtics this past year, and now it looks like he will be taking over as the head coach of the Utah Jazz. What kind of team will he inherit, though?
You can take this wherever you want to take it. I have been told there is a blockbuster move that no one is talking about that is going to happen within the next week. I have a funny feeling it's coming from Utah.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, a very sad story coming to us out of Arizona after a 60-year-old woman, Pamela Ray Martinez, was shot in her vehicle along West Bell Road on Saturday, June the 11th. Now, obviously, random shooting, not really weird. What is weird, though, is that the deceased woman in this case helped the police solve her own murder case because she was working part-time as a food delivery driver. And after she got done with her deliveries on this evening, she was, for some reason, pulled over to the side of the road. I don't know if she was trying to make a phone call or what, but some guy pulled up beside her and road rage incident. We don't know the case right now, but he gave her such a weird feeling. She took a picture of him with her cell phone. Strange guy pulls up next to you. Okay, I could see that. Unfortunately, she was shot and killed, declared dead at the scene, but it was because of the picture that she snapped with her cell phone shortly before her demise. They have now made the arrest of 62-year-old Rusty French, now facing charges of second-degree murder in Martinez's death after the police found the photo on her phone. Very sad story. 60-year-old woman, she's a grandmother, and she was just doing the food delivery thing to try to pay for her daughter's baby shower. Her daughter's pregnant. It's a very sad story, but here you go. I mean, that's weird. The deceased helped solve the case.
This has been a bad few days to be involved in the airline industry. Yesterday...
Is Mike Tyson showing up on flights again?
No, this is worse than that. Yesterday did not go well. Travelers all over the country were enraged because flights were canceled due to reduced flight routes, staffing shortages, and customer demand. This is the week before Independence Day, so a lot of people traveling for the 4th of July. So yesterday was a bad day. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure that it wasn't worse on Saturday for Southwest Airlines. This is a story that has gotten a lot of traction on TikTok because there is a video of it. There was a flight from Detroit to Denver on Saturday. And there was a gentleman. He was identified as Larry. We don't know anything else about him, and you probably won't until the arrest record comes out. He was on this flight, and he had his iPad. People on the flight saw it. It came up in their little the Wi-Fi thing where you can connect devices. This Larry's iPad. Well, apparently Larry started airdropping a video that a lot of people wouldn't want. A passenger opened it, saw what was happening. It was crimes. It's not necessarily crimes. It's just crimes to send it to somebody that didn't ask for it.
It's crimes to share the video of yourself in that.
Don't do that. First of all, don't film yourself. That's never a good idea. Second of all, certainly don't send it to people. So she alerts a stewardess, and the stewardess comes over and says, okay, stop being weird. You're being weird. Don't be weird. Mm-hmm. So Larry stopped being weird in that way. So he stopped airdropping the video to passengers on the flight.
Progress, okay.
That's progress, except for the fact that he decided to sit there and watch it on his iPad for the next 14 minutes.
Oh, no.
Stop being weird, okay? First of all, you're wearing sweatpants on a flight, which means I would have immediately identified you as I am not sitting next to that guy.
Is that a no-no?
Not okay. There's some people that can pull it off. I feel like I'm one of those people that can pull it off. There are other people that can't pull it off because you look at them and go, okay, you're weird. I can't tell you what it is.
I don't know. I'm sorry. Some hillbilly shows up next to me with a mullet and wearing sweatpants on the flight. I don't think I'm going to go, yeah, you pull off that look well.
All right, ask yourself this question. Who raises more red flags wearing sweatpants, me or you?
Touche.
There you go. And in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. Wow. So this guy kept watching the video of himself engaged in
a nefarious activity.
Let's say activities. And now facing crime. Facing charges.
Don't airdrop things to people. Why is that even an option? Should you not have to pair the devices?
Yes. You should not be able to just send me a video on my phone.
As somebody that did a lot of Verizon-y things in their life, the airdrop feature has never done nearly the good that it has done bad.
I don't even know the purpose of that.
Well, it's so you can send files between people, but there should be a password.
There should be an acceptance.
Put a password on it, and then people can't just randomly airdrop you things.
That is assault. That is assault. You want to put that on my phone without my say so?
Well, first of all, you do it to me. I don't wear gloves, but you are going to get old school slapped, and we are going to have a duel.
I thought you were going to a different place with that. I thought you were going to go with, I have videos too.
Nope, that was not what I was going to say.
I fully expected that from you.
Nope.
So I apologize.
Somebody marked the tape on that. His brain went to the bad place that mine didn't.
Yeah, it did. Where do we want to start? You want to start with the relevant quarterback or the non-relevant quarterback?
We'll go irrelevant quarterback.
All right, irrelevant quarterback news. My favorite player of all time in the NFL, Mr. Warren Sapp. He had an interesting take of things that he says he heard about the tryout that Colin Kaepernick had with the Las Vegas Raiders. He heard, despite all reports coming out of camp from people who were there and the GM and what they said about Kaepernick's workout being really good, looks like he's ready to play, all of this, Sapp says he heard it was the worst workout ever. Like in the history of all workouts, there's never been a quarterback workout that is worse than what Colin Kaepernick put on display for the Las Vegas Raiders. Do you believe him?
Absolutely, I believe him.
Do you?
100% I do.
Okay.
Because do you know what I've heard from sources about the Colin Kaepernick workout?
That it was bad?
Nothing. Not one word. That's a bad sign.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad sign. Because see, one of the things that's underrated about how the NFL works, this is a relationship-driven business. There are guys that have friends in front offices. I heard Brady Quinn tell a story very similar to this morning about when he was in Seattle. They cut him because they knew there was no path to him playing so that he could go somewhere else that he could potentially play.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he has friends in the front office. They will talk. Front offices do this all the time of, hey, this is a guy that can play. You should give him a shot because it is a relationship-driven business. In that example, there's somebody in the Seahawks front office. There's somebody in the Jets front office. They're friends. We can't use this guy. Well, you're the Jets, so you can always use a quarterback.
Right.
Ta-da. Nothing. Not from one team, not from one source, not one word. And what that tells me, and I'm going to throw in, there's no video of the workout.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot hardly walk to your car without somebody videotaping this. There's video somewhere.
And Sapp
it's
said
gone
that.
nowhere.
Right, and Sapp said that. He was like, the fact that there's not a video out there, he was shocked because he heard that the workout was so bad, it was such a bad disaster, that he was surprised that a video did not get leaked out of how bad it was.
There is a video of everything. Now, I was never on an NFL roster, so I cannot directly say that, hey, I've seen a camera on every practice field that I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I have been told that there is a video of everything you do. No matter what it is, no matter how stupid it is, there's a video somewhere.
Sure.
And the fact that you have not seen one thing of it should tell you everything you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not beneficial for anybody. There is no mutual benefit to that video coming out. And I think the Raiders did this as a, hey, this will give us a little good press. And then they saw it and went, there's nothing here.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they just want it to die. I also want you to think about this. Players that work for teams, we go back to that relationship thing I said. Warren Sapp played for the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you he knows somebody in that front office. And this is a guy that he benefits in no way. Warren Sapp was a TV guy. He's a TV guy that is now no longer a TV guy, and if you know, you know why.
Right.
This is not him trying to get back in. He's not trying to break a story. He was asked a question. He answered it honestly.
Mm-hmm.
He has zero reason to lie. So, yeah, I think that's exactly what happened.
Okay. Warren Sapp's word, probably not concrete, probably not something that you should just take to the bank.
I disagree with you. He was always a very good source, and he was always, at least when he was a TV guy, he had good sources in the league,
mm-hmm.
and yeah, he didn't pull any punches, but he tended to be pretty accurate.
Everybody connected to this, though, the talking heads, the big wigs, the GMs and such, they've all said the palaver, basically, about, oh, it looks good, you tell anybody. They told his agent, Colin Kaepernick's agent, you tell anybody to call us, and we'll recommend him. Sure.
Not one team.
Yeah.
Not one team has heard that another team was interested.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing there.
Today's 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery question of the day. It's all about players playing through injuries. Do you judge players who don't play through the pain? Now, we've talked a little bit about this, and the comment section has been going back and forth. It depends on what the injury is. We all understand that. How serious an injury is depends on whether or not you can play through the pain. If you're a quarterback and you've, torn your rotator cuff on your throwing arm, you're probably not going to be able to play through that pain. The reason this came up, though, was because Julian Edelman and Martellus Bennett, well, it was Martellus Bennett.
And Martellus Bennett said it in a way that we can't play the audio.
No, we cannot. He said that Jimmy Garoppolo was being a big old, softy, basically.
In a word that we're not allowed to say.
He was being a big old softy when he played for the New England Patriots. Tom Brady got injured. He came in and played a couple of games, and then lo and behold, right before, his third start, he just, nope, can't play. And that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And his overall gist of this was that you can't win with a guy who's going to be soft.
And my overwhelming question here, that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this coming up? I mean, look, I understand Jimmy Garoppolo is a very topical quarterback at this point.
Sure.
Why is this coming up?
Well, it's probably because they said, hey, you played with Jimmy Garoppolo, and
I got that.
Okay.
There's an unspoken thing in the NFL. You don't throw guys under the bus for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just crush guys for nothing. And that's exactly what this feels like. This feels exactly like crushing a guy for no reason. And it makes me ask the question, why does everybody hate Jimmy Garoppolo? I can't for the life of me figure it out.
I mean, I guess they're – I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know why the hatred is so great against him. I mean, I could get why San Francisco 49ers fans, some of them may be a little put off because he missed the big throw in the Super Bowl. Okay. I mean, I give you that, but he's always been, when on the field, very usable, very dependable, and not stupid. He's not going to make the major mistakes that are going to cost you the game. That one overthrow in the Super Bowl will hang over his head forever.
So my question is, neither of those two players played for San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So it's obviously not a loyalty there.
They just don't like
He didn't do anything to you in New England.
Except for bailing out on that game.
Okay.
That makes him a bad teammate, and
He
they
was
don't
hurt.
like him.
He was hurt. What do you want him to do? Now, does he have a bit of a predilection to be hurt?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Is he maybe not the, Ronnie Lott type who's going to cut a finger off to go back into a game? Sure.
Right.
But what I don't understand is, why are you holding that against him? And there's only one reason. There's only one reason that I can possibly come up with, and I got to give it to one of our loyal fans in the YouTube chat for hitting it before I got there.
Okay.
Stephen Tao. It's because he wins and dates porn stars. That's it. That's the only thing that makes sense, is that you were at least at some route jealous of him.
So you think Marty Saurus Rex is jealous of Jimmy Garoppolo?
I'll be honest with you. I think most of us, if you gave us truth serum and made us tell the truth, we're all a little jealous of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, 100%.
Good-looking cat that's been to a Super Bowl, he's got my life of you outkick your coverage everywhere you go every day of your life. Good for you.
Yeah, but with him, it's not so much out kicking his
Yeah,
coverage,
he's actually
he's
not
that
out,
attractive.
Yeah, he is the 10 dating a 10. I'm the 2 dating a 10.
Right.
So, hey, props to me. I'm better than Jimmy Garoppolo at something.
I don't know. A lot of people feel like he's overrated. And that he's just a pretty boy quarterback. And, okay. I mean, if that's the way you feel, that's the way you feel. Although I will say, Julian Edelman, that ain't a bad-looking dude. I don't know that he's so.
Yeah, and, I thought about that.
Okay.
And still, Julian's just a little feller. He's like your height.
So he's got the Napoleon complex.
Yeah, he looks at Jimmy and goes, all right, so, I do fine, but Jimmy's, 6'2", and that's the only thing that makes any sense.
Right.
You can't be in New England. You had Tom Brady. It never made any sense that you drafted him in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he bailed out on us in a game. Okay, are you mad at Tom? Because Tom completely screwed you because he got suspended by the league. So why does one upset you and the other one doesn't? That makes no sense. Jimmy Garoppolo is a career 68% passer.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the best marks in NFL history. Almost 20 games over 500 for a guy that's only played in 63 of them. I don't get it. I don't get it, and I don't think I'm ever going to get it. Am I telling you he's Tom Brady? No, I'm not. But I keep hearing his name put with Baker Mayfield, and that is dumb to dumb-dumb to dumb-dumb.
Oh, 100%.
You know how many teams in the NFL would take Jimmy Garoppolo over Baker Mayfield right now? 32 out of 32.
Yep.
And all 8 or 47 of what's in the USFL would do the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can hate on him and throw shade at him all you want to. And is he the brawny man? No, he's not. He's probably closer to one of the Paul brothers. Maybe not exactly a man's man. He's still a phenomenal quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's still a phenomenal quarterback at the end of the day.
Martellus Bennett, I guess he was asked, since Jimmy Garoppolo's in the news, like, what do you think? You used to be a teammate of his, and he's told the story that in week 4 of the season that Tom Brady was suspended for Deflategate, that he practiced all week long and then basically minutes before the game decided, I can't do it. And it left Jacoby Brissett having to start, despite the fact that I think he had a torn rotator cuff. Or
No, he had
like
a
that.
torn ligament in his
ligament
thumb.
in his thumb. That's right. So he had a torn ligament in his thumb, or multiple torn ligaments in his thumb, and he had to make the start rather than Jimmy Garoppolo. Martellus Bennett called him a puffball, basically.
And that's fine.
And then Julian Edelman backed it up. He said, I get it. There are a lot of people that were mad about that, and I see why Marty feels that way.
And I'm going to be 100% honest with you, and this is maybe it's the scout side of me, maybe it's whatever you want to call it. you defend Jacoby Brissett because he plays through the pain. He's bad at this game. Like, he's bad. Bad. I will take Jimmy Garoppolo in a ballerina costume against Jacoby Brissett on his best day.
See, this is the trade that the Carolina Panthers need to make. If you're going to make a trade for a quarterback, do not do the Baker Mayfield thing.
I've said that for 4 months now.
Garoppolo.
I said it about Washington. I hammered Washington the day they traded for Carson Wentz instead of Jimmy Garoppolo. Makes zero sense.
Yep.
And until this is resolved, we're going to keep doing this. I just don't understand what two New England guys' problems with him is. And everybody seems to hate him.
It's because we're all jealous of the dazzling good looks. I do love the Subway commercial, though, with his grandmother, his Nona, saying, well, at least he's pretty. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Lane delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound light delays near George's Branch Road. On New Leicester Highway between Mooseheart Lane and Oak Hill Drive, an accident reported. Smoky Park Highway moving well. Patton Avenue, no delays. Hendersonville Road, no backup. Sweeten Creek Road moving well. Charlotte Highway, no problems. Tunnel Road moving well. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
Ray Magliozzi here. The tear in my driver's seat does have sentimental value since my butt's molded to fit it. But I'm ready for a new one from eBay Motors with all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. Till then, I'll just scooch. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Straight Talk Wireless knows there are plenty of reasons you might need a new phone. But switching to a better wireless provider doesn't have to be one of them. Keep your own phone and save when you switch to any Straight Talk Wireless plan, like our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with unlimited high-speed data and 5 gigs of hotspot, plus nationwide 5G on America's best networks. Keep your own phone. Switch to a better wireless plan. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Requires a compatible unlocked phone and QIOP kit. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Try Taco Bell's new cheesy double beef burritos now. A melty 3-cheese blend with nacho cheese sauce and double the seasoned beef in classic and spicy. At participating stores for a limited time while supplies last. Prices vary, tax extra. Double the seasoned beef as compared to beefy melt burrito.
At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us. It doesn't matter how big or small your business is. If you're a plumber, roofer, electrician, or remodeler, your business earns back when you spend, gets exclusive offers, and paint rewards. It all adds up to help drive your business. Join Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards and Partnership Program today. Minimum purchase required. Earnings and paint rewards awarded as Lowe's e-gift cards. Exclusions, restrictions, and more terms apply. Valid through 12/31/22. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. U.S. only.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? Quality oil like Valvoline Full Synthetic can help you get more out of every mile. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for only $36.99. Got an older vehicle? Try Valvoline Full Synthetic High Mileage options. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Dirty Turkish shark back flat.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore.
Shark back flat.
Good. Let the hate flow through you.
Am I going to sit here and argue with you that Terry McLaurin is the 7th best receiver in the NFL? No, I'm not. But I will tell you that of all the upset receivers over this offseason, he's the one whose voice I never heard. He's the one who probably means the most to the team that he would have been leaving, and him getting his money is well-deserved. So Twitter can lose their minds about, oh, this is such an overpay. He's not. I don't care. You know what the top 10 contracts for receivers all have in common? They've all been signed in the last 12 months. Every single one of them.
Wow.
He got the money that the market dictated. Is he that guy? Probably not. But give it another year, and I could argue that that deal's going to be of value. He's a great locker room guy that you can't find anyone to say anything negative about. And so instead of worrying about every dollar and cent, maybe you worry that a guy that deserved his money got the money from the team that drafted him, and you never heard his voice on why he deserved the money. I'm mad.
$23 million a year, 3-year contract, up to $71 million for Terry McLaurin from the Washington Commanders.
There are about 30 guys in the NFL that anytime they come up, it's immediately followed with, that is the nicest person you will ever deal with. And Terry McLaurin's one of them. Mm-hmm. So good for him. I'm very happy that he got his money and look forward to seeing what he can do with Carson Wentz this year.
Speaking of nice people to deal with, Jeremy.
Fred Anderson Nissan, one of our great partners and some of our favorite people, a family that I'm very proud to say I have been in for quite some time. They have a specific offer for you, our Sportsocracy listeners. If you go into Fred Anderson Nissan, 629 Brevard Road, and trade in your car, they will give you an extra $250 on your trade just for listening to us. All you have to do, you can go to our social media. There's an advertisement there with the little beer logo in the bottom right-hand corner, or you can tell them that you heard it on this here program. They will give you a $250 addition on your trade credit just for being one of our great listeners. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, 629 Brevard Road. Tell them the Sportsocracy sent you.
Yes, you are in the Sportsocracy, and just for a few more days now. Just a 2-hour program.
We only got 3 more days of this.
That's right.
3 days from now, you got a whole other hour. I'll be hoarse by the end of that first one.
July the 5th, next Tuesday, we will be going to 3 hours, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. right here on ESPN Asheville.
And on our Facebook, Instagram, all those things pages, there is a graphic of what do you want to hear in that third hour. We have a basic premise, but we want to hear from you. We have always patterned ourselves around being the most interactive show humanly possible. So let us know what you want to hear in that third hour. We want to hear your voice on that.
That's why we named the show the Sportsocracy. We are the Democratic Republic of Sports and want to include you as much as possible. We will see you back here tomorrow at 3 o'clock as we will continue our team-by-team previews in the NFL before training camp, Buffalo Bills, Green Bay Packers, and all the breaking news that you can handle.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, most of the thunderstorms have pushed on down into South Carolina. A little cold front has cleared Asheville. That lower humidity feeling good tonight in the 50s and 60s across the area. Chance for isolated thunderstorms Wednesday, a high of 81. And then a chance for an isolated storm or two into the holiday weekend as well. High temperatures in the low 80s. Nighttime low temps in the mid-60s. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
Ray Magliozzi here. The tear in my driver's seat does have sentimental value since my butt's molded to fit it. But I'm ready for a new one from eBay Motors with all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. Till then, I'll just scooch. eBay Motors, let's ride.
This is your time-saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Lane delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue, 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway, 40 westbound light delays near George's Branch Road. On New Leicester Highway between Mooseheart Lane and Oak Hill Drive, an accident reported. Smoky Park Highway moving well. Patton Avenue, no delays. Hendersonville Road, no backup. Sweeten Creek Road moving well. Charlotte Highway, no problems. Tunnel Road moving well.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man!
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.